Yeah, so here we are. It's Friday again, as usual. And yeah, I've got progress again this week. Got some other things going on I'll tell you about in a minute or two. One headlight's on, and it goes up and down. You'll see that after a while. Other one is pending. The paint's looking pretty good. Like you can see this, I've been doing some sanding on it. I actually got the back deck here to my satisfaction. It feels really nice and smooth, and it's ready to go. Wet sanded and everything like that, and you'll see all that. Lots of time this week putting these headlights back together, cleaning them up and figuring out how they work. And they seem to work. So far they work. Even the light works. So that's it for this week. I hope you're enjoying it. Stick around, you'll see everything that I did, how I scratch paint and stuff like that. And then I've got another little thing going on here. I'll show you. Back with I got the W8 truck again. Peter is very generous. Peter at Atlantis Motor Group, W8 Motors warehouse. He's very generous and lends me this truck when I need a truck to go on a road trip. So that tractor there, which is the old tractor that I had before, found a new home for it. And we're going to go over to New Brunswick and trading it straight across for a little red car. I'll show you when it gets there. Yeah, so time to take apart these things here. Now, right here, this thing here is a stopper thing for, got a spring on it down here, and a stopper for the up and down business. Don't know really what it does, except that it had, right here, there used to be a piece of metal going across here that broke and stops it. It keeps it from going any farther than that. So I'll have to see if I can reconstruct. What I'll do is I'll make a, this is pot metal, so you can't weld to it, or aluminum or something. So I'll make a little piece that'll fit in underneath there and put a couple of rivets on it to hold it, because it's got to get, this thing here can't get in the way of it. Excuse me. Anyway, I'll take it all apart and then I'll figure that out. Yeah, so now here's the bracket. Everything came apart except for this one adjusting screw here, and it broke off inside there, so I drilled it out. I'll show you what it looks like on this side here. Here it is here on this one that I haven't touched yet. So this nut here is welded to the frame. This is, you know, the locking on it, and then you should be able to turn it by hand really, but not anymore. Anyhow, so I'll put a bunch of, you know, penetrating fluid on this and see if I can get that one out without breaking it. And then that adjusts it to where that's a stopper for, it hits on here. Whoops, right there, hits on here to stop it from coming into the car too far. That's where it stops it from coming into the car. So that's where you adjust it to make it so that it sits flush with the fender, right? So that was why they couldn't adjust it to, they had to use body putty on it. So anyway, I'll see if I can get this one. I was able to drill out the old one, and then this is a stainless steel little bolt. So that should be okay for a while. Anyway, there's the only problem so far. And then the wiring is going to be an issue, but we'll figure that out later. Yeah, so the first thing I'll do is I'll make this little piece that goes in here. And then I'll just make it out of a piece of steel and make it fairly wide, cut the middle to the right size, and then I'll sort of push it up into place, figure it out. I'll show you as I get along here. There, now that looks pretty factory fresh in there, so I'm not gonna fool around with that. There's not even a bit of dust in there. So what I'll do is I'll clean off the pieces, put it back together. Then I'll take the wiring out of this thing here, the outside wiring, and see where it goes, see what I have to do. So I made my little bridge piece, and there it is there, and then I've got so that it comes up even with the stuff. So I'll just wait for that to dry. Then I'll put a hole here and a hole here, hole here and a hole here, and I'll just pop rivet it in there. And then I'll drill this hole out where the stopper goes through and put that back. There, that thing's mostly cleaned up, so I'll just call it that for the day, I think. And let that stuff in there soak overnight. Let that stuff there I'll put a bit more magic fluid on that before I quit here. And anyway, past 5 o'clock, so time to quit. See you tomorrow. Yeah, there. Now, I really don't have any great idea how that's supposed to look. Besides that, it seemed to be like that. So, anyhow, this is where the little stopper goes that I have, and then I put these pop rivets in to hold this piece of metal in here, and that's supposed to be the stopper or a guide for the up and down business, I think. We'll just see. Anyhow, I'll put this cover back on. I've got everything cleaning up in the rust remover here. It works pretty good. So I'll get those things out and start putting it back together. I'm gonna see what I can do about the wiring on this whole thing. It looks like there's one way or the other way it goes, who knows. I've got that mostly cleaned up, and I put a new wire covering on here. This thing here, clean. I'm gonna paint it up. Oops, losing pieces. I don't want to lose that. That's important. So then I've got these. Here's the old wiring stuff, and it's all yucky and corroded, and half of them on the other side are broken. So these two here, these three here, these three go in one thing. So I'm going to put these two into one, that one into one alone, because there's only two connectors on each one of these things. And then these two here I'll put into one, because they seem to go in the same place. Now, then I'll figure it out on the other side, up there. Well, it's actually over there, where they go. I'll get that sorted out, and I'll make sure that the motor runs when I get it put together here. Anyhow, I'll get started. I'm just going to get my soldering station out and go at it. Yeah, you get sort of cross-tracked here, so I had to do a bunch of soldering. So I put new connectors on here. So this one here is the, what end is that? That's the male end, right? And then that one's the female end there. So they can't get them mixed up on the inside in there. That's for those three connectors. Then the headlight, that's for the motor, right? And the headlight has the same connector basically, so I put it so that the female end will be on here and the male end is in there, so you can't get them mixed up and backwards. Anyway, hopefully that works. Now I'll take this over. I've got a 12-volt thing there. I'll take it over and see if I can make the motor work. Yeah, so here we are. I've got a 12-volt power supply thing there. Now one side here is going to the negative, which is, I'm pretty sure that's a negative. Then the other one, I'll just touch it on here. Whoops. Can't get it to stay. Need 5 hands, right? Hang on. Okay, I'll give it a try here. There's the terminal thing, right? So I'm holding here. And away it goes. And the wheelie thing turns round and round and round. Now I don't know what makes it go backwards or upside down or anything like that, but I'll take that as a running thing. Seems to be going along fine. I'll let it run for a little bit and see if it, like it doesn't run very long whenever it's pushing the things up and down, right? Nothing gets warm, so, oops, okay, nothing gets warm. So, anyway, I think it's okay. I think that one there is running. I'll put it back together and then finish the seat on the one side, and then I'll fix the other side. Anyway, that's all for today. There's a motor for the, what do you call that? Motor for the headlights. And the other one is around here somewhere. Oh yeah, right here in a bucket somewhere down there. So I'll get this one together tomorrow and take that one apart tomorrow. That's all for today. See you tomorrow. There now, I got this thing apart without ruining it. This part here was, the nut was seized onto it, so I soaked it in that rust remover overnight, put some more penetrating oil on it, and then put the heat to it with a propane torch, and then it started moving, so that's good. Now all these parts are, like this part here, I didn't want to break it because it's kind of irreplaceable. I imagine I could fix it if I had to, but I didn't want to have to. And that's where the adjustment is for the up and down to make it meet the body nicely. So you don't want to screw with it too much. Anyhow, all those bits are looking good over here. Motor looks good. I put new electrical connections on the end of the wires. The wires are okay, and inside there is okay, and the motor runs. And then I cleaned up those two things down there and put a coat of paint on them. So now I'm going to put this side here back, this side here. Now that's fine English. I'm going to put this side back together before I take apart the other side. And then I've, you know, the old bachelor trick, I put these things through the dishwasher. They came out fairly clean. Anyway, there we go. I'll figure out a way to make them stay. Yeah, so there's all the parts. Like there's the motor, mounting bracket of some sort. I don't know where that goes. I forget. And there's all sorts of stuff in here to put it all together with. And I got a big old spring. Now I got to remember how to put it back together. But fortunately, I have the other one here. And I'll just bring it over and I'll use it for a guide. Then I'll take this one apart and do the same trick to this one as I did to that one. So right now, this one can be the guide. Okay, so this bit here, this bit, well that's the headlight holder, so, yep, okay. Now I'm getting there. I'll figure out where it all goes. There, I'll put it on time lapse and see if I can figure it out. All them bits can go out there. I'll save this for the next time. There, now that seems to be back together. So now I have to tighten these up, but I'm gonna wait to tighten them up. Oops, when I install the top plate to it. But I'll go over and just see what happens if I hook some electricity to it. Who knows, hey? We'll find out over here. Can you see that? Oh yeah, you can see it. Give me some light, maybe. Now, electricity hooks into these two here. No, these two right here. I'm pretty sure this one here is the negative side. And then, see what happens when we hit the positive side. Nothing. Now, yesterday it worked. Black goes to this side, right? Right. Oh, it'll work better if I hook this wire up to here. That always helps. Okay, here we go. See what happens. Now I wonder how it knows where to stop. But it sure does go up and down. Yeah, so what happens is it comes to the top of its run, and this little thing here clicks into here. I don't know if you can see that, but that little thing there clicks into there. And that makes it so that when it's windy out, it won't come back on the stuff, like it won't shake around. And then when it wants to go, it keeps turning and it pushes that out of the way. So anyway, we'll see how that works out. So far, so good. There, now I'll take apart side number 2, and then while I have it apart, I'll fix up the electrics on that. Yeah, so some red yucky stuff came out the other side when I was cleaning it up, but it seems to be just fine. So there's how this thing works. It goes around and around and clicks on them right there like that. I won't dig around with the electricity here because they all seem to be okay. It just takes it off of goes a half turn, takes it off. Huh, very cool. And then you have to have that set up so it's in the right spot. Very cool. Oh, no, maybe not. It's when the arm reaches a certain spot. So I could have it on 180 degrees out on the other one. And if it is, I'll sort that out later. Now to rewire these ends, they're all corroded and stuff in there. Then I've got this wire that goes out, and it was connected to that green wire there. This wire goes out. Now this one here, I know where it goes on the other side. There's blue wires right here. On this side here. Blue wires are the ones that go to the motor there. Wait till I turn on light down in here. Any better? Hope so. Anyhow, so this conglomerate of wires here, that's for the, there's a red, there's a green and a white, and there's a black. And that's for the signal lights, right-hand side. On the other side, I was wondering what the hell that was for, eh? So there's a red, green and red, or green and something, a red, and a black. And that's for the signal light on the driver's side or the left-hand side. Now it's the signal light's right in the bumper. Whenever I get the bumper out, I'll figure that out. Then down here, so that's signal light stuff. This thing here is the junction wire for the fog lights. Now, I don't know if there's any fog lights on it, but you can hook fog lights on there. This one here is the wire that for the headlamp itself, for the high beam, low beam. And then this one here is the motor, the one for the motor on the lift it up and put it back down business. And then this green wire here, it used to be hooked onto here, the green wire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this wire about here somewhere, put a junction in there, put a good soldered junction in there, and then put some heat tape on it, and then that'll be back in the middle of this harness somewhere where it'll be out of harm's way. Then I'll run a wire long enough and I'll put one of my new connectors on here, and same thing for the other side. Anyhow, so this one here is first. Anyway, there, that's a good hot junction there. Should be okay. I'll put some shrink wrap on that. I'll show you how I made that. It's actually a pretty simple little thing. Wait a second. Here we are. Where am I recording? I don't know. Don't know what's going on with this damn thing. Yeah, there it goes. So, here I've got two pieces of wire, right? Can you see them? And then I've got it so that they're... Wait a sec, I'll get the camera lined up here. Here's the two pieces of wire like that, right? So you put them on together, sort of cross over like that. You see that? Just sort of cross them over like that. And then twist them like it's... Sometimes they don't hold, but... You give... Whoop! What a good example that is, right? Try again. So you get them kind of like that. Nice clean hands, Lauren. And then you give them a good twist. One of these wires is heavier than the other one, so it's a bit difficult to get them just going. There, you give them a nice twist. A twist like that. And often they'll hold together. There. Twist like that. And then put some solder paste on it and solder it. And then it becomes a real nice joint. Yeah, getting way ahead of here. So anyhow, there's the bit of heat shrink I put on that. And then I've got this end here soldered on two wires. So the blue one goes to the bottom, and it's got like a female type end on here. Same idea that I did here, female end. For that, for all this motor stuff, like I've got female there and two males on it. And so with the headlight stuff, I'll put female on the headlight. Whoops, where am I pointing? So with the headlight stuff, I'll put female on the headlights, which I've got prepared down there, and male on the inside. So you can't get them mixed up, eh? Anyway, that's my story. So there now, that end there is hooked on, ready to go. So those two kind of stay together, and these three kind of stay together. Like here, I've got those two coming out there, and they're on a female end, and then these ones here are on the male end. So there's two wires go to one, and one wire goes to the other. One wire goes to the other. It used to be a triple connector there, but I only have dual connectors, so that's how I'm doing it. So don't forget, I keep on forgetting to put this little black thing on, which is sort of a dust cap after you finish it, eh? Anyway, so now, first thing to do is take a bit of solder paste and put it on that piece of wire there. That cleans the wire off. Then you get there, I want a end that looks like that. Oops, pointing the wrong way. End that looks like that, and it's going to go right on here, like that. So what I do is I take a little, here's my soldering gun, and I take and put a drop of solder on there, and then just gently put it on here. Look at that, see that, just like that. And then it'll, you can tell when you have a good connection. That's not a good connection there yet, so I'll get a bit more solder and drop it on there. Yeah, there now, that's all rewired up. So these ones here, those two are there. Whoops, those two there are for the headlights. These ones here are for the drive motor for the lifty thing. That one there is for the horn, but there's no horn right there. Ground wire. These ones are for the, what do you call that? Signal lights. And that one there is for the fog lights. So, I'll figure out what happens with fog lights or not. And then the side lights are over here. These wires here, I don't know where that one there went to. There was all sorts of extra wiring around. Anyway, that's all for today. I'm finished. It's time to go and make some supper. Yeah, so here now, this bracket for the whole motor thing, you know, on the lifty thing for the headlight. This bolt, or this nut here, or this bolt here, was seized on when I was taking it apart, so I had to cut the nut off it. And so I finished cutting the bolt out, drilled it out, put a new bolt in there. Now I'm going to just weld it on the top here. There doesn't seem to be anything that interferes with it at that level. Wait a minute till I check it out for sure. I'll make sure that that will fit all right before I put it in there. Yeah, so this thing here is going to bind on that, so I'll have to take it and I'll grind off the top of that nut before I weld it on there. Yeah, there it is. So now I've grinded off the top, so now this fits in there without any problem. It doesn't bind on that thing. So now I'll just get it welded on there and that'll be good. Yeah, there's that thing. It's welded on now, and it's just clear, which is good enough for me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, now I'll just take this apart, clean it up a bit, and see how it is. I put some penetrating oil on these that hold that on, and if they come apart, that'll be good. That's all the parts from the passenger side, and I've got the rest of the passenger side parts over here in the paint booth, right? Getting cleaned up. So I fixed up this. This is the only nut that it's. So that's a standard nut on there, and the rest of these are metric. People are going to be mad at me whenever they try to take this apart, right? Yeah, so when these things originally came, there was a washer on this side of it, and it was glued on there in each one of these. And then you put a bolt in from the other side. Now I've got bolts that fit here, stainless steel ones, but there's nothing to hold it on this side. So I've got these washers here that I've cleaned off, and they fit in the little holes, and some epoxy glue. So I'll just see if it'll work, because this one here is a little bit suspect, but oh well, can't lose. Like, it can't be any worse than it is right now, right? Yeah, there now, these pieces are all either soaking in rust remover or else drying over here and hardening. Don't know for sure if that epoxy stuff will hold or not. We'll find out sometime. Or else there's yeah, the headlight pot. I painted that up, made it look all right. Now, so whilst I'm waiting for all that stuff to happen, I went and did some lurking on the internet last night, and apparently you only have to wait 24 hours before you can start rubbing down the car so that it looks good. So 24 hours is up quite a few hours ago. I'm going to start with the back trunk lid here. You can see it's kind of ripply. I'm just going to start with that. This part here, I think it just needs polishing. The trunk lid itself needs to get wet sanded. And the back of it, I think, just needs polishing. So I'll wet sand the trunk lid, polish it up and see how it looks out. And then after that, I'll attack the front trunk, the front engine bonnet. Yeah, it seems like I spend my whole life sanding, eh? So that's 1,500, that's 2,000, this must be 1,000 over here, right? Yeah, there's 1,000. So, you take your piece of sandpaper, I'll just sprinkle some water on there to get started with. Oops. And you take your piece of sandpaper, you can get it in your hand. Now this stuff here, this will actually happen pretty quick, because it doesn't take, like, I'm not going to take a great deal off. Over here you can feel it biting just in that edge there. You want to be careful at the corners, because at the corners you'll take off all of the finish more quickly than out in the rest of the car at the edges and stuff. But I'm just going to go over it quickly. Like, this will only take 5 minutes with the, like, not even 5 minutes with the 1,000. I can feel it digging a bit there. Yeah, so then you go to town on it with one of these polishing things, and there it is there, polished up. And then when you're done, it says you just wait till I read the directions here. Yeah, so when you're done, then you wipe it off with a clean terry cloth, which I happen to have down to my last 1,000 of them here. If I can get one out without knocking the rest down. Life is difficult with one hand, hey? So now, clean terry cloth, right? Wipe it off and see how it come out. Not there yet. We'll just see. Yeah, it needs more polishing up there. Yeah, so the parts that I didn't do any sanding on came out pretty nice. But the parts that I did sanding on, they're going to take some more work. So I think I'm missing an integral step here. I think I had, last year when I was doing this, I had another bottle of stuff. One was a grinding compound and the next one was a polishing compound, so I think I've missed out on a step. But anyhow, I'll try it again. Yeah, now there. So it didn't come out as I expected it might. So I went through it all again, and I got this, like, I went through sanding again, gave it quite a more aggressive job of sanding the second time around. And now I'm going to go at it with the polisher. So I did 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. With the 1,000 I went fairly aggressively at it, and I think I've got it flat now. what was happening with the polishing. It was coming up polished on the knobs and not on the in-betweens. So hopefully it's flattened out now, and I'll give it another try with the polisher. That thing there. See what happens. I'll show you when I get done. I don't know if I showed you this, but first off, there's the polishing compound. Don't want that. Here's this paint restoration compound first. And then just you put it on there and you polish it until it's polished off. And then it's done. There now, I think that's got it a lot better than it was. It's starting to look pretty good now. You're getting the polish through it. So now I'll wipe off a bit of residue here and then I'll hit it with the polishing compound. Yeah, there now, I'm finally happy. It sure did take a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be pretty quick to fix this up, but anyhow, you can see my hand in there, right? Can you see my hand? There I am, waving at you in there, yeah. So, it looks pretty good now. I got after it with the big guy. So I have this thing here that I used on the BMW, and it works pretty good. That one there works pretty good for polishing it down, but that one there is a good finisher. So, I guess that's the combination I'll use in the future. Anyhow, now I just wanted to check and see that everything was going to work out okay on this trunk lid. And indeed it did. I'll put a coat of wax on it and just see how it looks after a coat of wax. It might sharpen it up a bit more. Yeah, there's the kind of wax I use. Mother's California Gold. Brazilian Caranuba cleaning wax. Don't know what that Caranuba stuff is, but it must be good. It's in the wax, right? So, you put it on and then let it dry for a while till it's hazy. And then you can wipe it off with a nice clean terry cloth like I have right here, ready to go in a minute or two. Yeah, that's after the coat of wax, and everything reflects really nice in it now. So you can see the reflection of the lift over there. You can see the reflection of the lift over here. So that's good enough for me. So it looks pretty good now. A couple of spots here were a little bit dull, but I think I'll live with that for a while. Anyhow, that might be the worst of the worst of my problems. The rest of the problems might not be so bad. This up front here, it's just a matter of getting these runs out of it. There's no, like, it's actually a nice, pretty good surface to it already. But I imagine I'll have to sand the whole damn thing. And that's all right. I'll just do it. Yeah, so there are now, see these runs right here, and these runs right, can you see them? I don't know if you can see them or not, but there's some runs right here. You can see these ones, I think, pretty good. See how they stand out pretty good there. Well, the same thing was right here and right here. So they're all sort of gone. There was also one right, I don't know where, somewhere here. And there was another one here. Well, you can see a little bit of an edge of that one right there. But I think that we'll see what happens after I polish, but so far so good. I'll just keep on going at it. There's a set to do right here. And then there are little tiny ones in here. They'll come out pretty easy. Like all the way right across here and across there is a little bit, so I'll do more there. See where else? Yeah, and then there's some down in here. So I got a little bit overzealous with putting the paint on this one, hey? Anyway, if you put on too much, you got to take it off. Yeah, there now, mostly that's all the little runs. See, you can sort of see where the run used to be there in a few spots. I'll see what happens after it polishes it. Then I'll take and polish this whole front. Now, there was quite a bit of sanding there. It took lots of wax on, wax off there. So I'll use one guy I'll use it for polishing, and the other guy I'll use it for buffing, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, there we go. There you go, that's not a bad angle, hey? So now, I'll just, I'll put it on fast forward. Yeah, that was the, what do you call that stuff? Hang on. Paint restoring compound. Now I'll get the polishing compound and put it on there. Which is this stuff here. Polishing compound. Yeah, there was talking away to nothing. Anyway, this part out here came out all right up here. You can look, if you look real hard, you can see where there were those little runs in there, but that's as much sanding out as they're going to get, I think. If I sand them out much more, it'll just be, I'll be right through the paint maybe. So I don't want to do that. Anyway, so I have to do some sanding up in here because I thought I'd get away with just polishing that, but apparently not. And then down along here, this end here came out really nice. So if I can get the front to look as nice as this is, then I'll be a happy guy. And it's getting there because in the middle part there, it's, you know, you can see reflections of everything in there, hand and everything like that. So anyhow, it'll get there. That'll be tomorrow. It's a pretty long reach across there to do the polishing. Now we're back to the task at hand here. So when you start sanding on these things, you might as well be prepared to do it all, because you can feel this part down here. It's just, this is nice and smooth up here. Needs some sanding along in here, but this needs to be sanded. So I guess I'll just buckle down and do it. But first, I'll finish up with the headlights, because they're all, I think I'm set to go there. I'll check it out. Yeah, so it goes together the same way it came apart, and I use that one there for a guide. This thing here was seized in there solid, so I couldn't get it out. I'm going to leave it there. I hope it's okay. This one here, it broke on me on the way out, so I had to put a new thing in there, which isn't likely as good as the old thing. But anyhow, that's the way it is. Now that's back together. So here's a big question for anybody who knows the answer. Seems that when it turns this way, it pushes that lever down, so this thing here can come away, down, right? But when it's turning the other way, if it's going this way, then it binds on that lever. I wonder which way it's supposed to turn. Must have to turn this way all the time. But that doesn't seem to be the way that it was turning when I had it running. I'll just hook up some electricity to it and see what it does. Yeah, I guess that is the way it's supposed to go. So it goes round and round and round. Now, what makes it stop, I don't know. But I'll show you what, here's, like when it gets to the top of the run there, I'll just move this. When it gets to the top of the run, it's supposed to stop, it's supposed to stop about there somewhere. And then this little thingy here is here so that when the wind is blowing on the headlight, it's not going to blow it closed. Maybe. Who knows, eh? But it's like a little safety latch. And then when it goes on, so that it pushes that down, and then this is able to close again. So likely it's not that big a deal if it works or not. This was broken, so it must have been likely got seized or somewhere in there. Anyhow, I'll see what happens. Yeah, so now there, that's together, right? That's so it sits like this inside the car, and that should be with headlight up, just about. Well, headlight on the way up. So what I'm going to do is, before I put the headlight shell and all that stuff into here, I'm going to mount it in the car where it's supposed to go, get it all adjusted so that it fits right, and then I'll take it out again, mount the headlight in, get the wiring done through there, and blah blah blah. See how that works out. Anyhow, but there, cut you off short there. You likely didn't mind that. Anyhow, but that's it for today. I'll finish buffing it one of these days when I get the. I've decided that I have to sort of sand most of it. Well, I don't know. Some of it's pretty smooth feeling, and some of it's a little bit raspy feeling. Maybe I'll try doing the polish on it before I try doing any sanding on it. So anyhow, see what happens. I gotta let it down, and that'll be that for today. Yeah, so here, I'm back at it. And I'll see if I can get this thing here mounted in the car. I think it's goes on that side. It's the driver's side one, this one. See if I can get it mounted in and then get it adjusted properly so it's up and down, and then I'll finish doing the paint work. Now here's something to watch. Turn it on here, right? Whoops, that didn't go. Sure is pretty noisy. Anyway, that's interesting. That's where it stops. Well, that's where I just stopped it. Let's see if I can make it stop at the bottom. Yeah, pretty close. Anyway, I don't know how the electronics work inside there to make it stop and go, except that it does go up and down fairly regularly. But it sure is a noisy thing. I'll have to get it. I'll put some oil on a few of the pieces in there, I guess. Now, it's also... Now, if I'll just twist it down by hand the rest of the way here. Like that. That fits pretty nice there. I'm happy with that fit. So I think I'll leave it in and just get the headlight bulb to fit in there now with it on the car. I'll tighten everything up, let it be, and that'll be good, a good spot for it. What happens here when I press the button for on? Whoa, lights. Serious lights. That's high beam or low beam, one of the two. Hang on, I'll get the other one hooked up. And this one is the other beam. Ooh, that's high beam. Whoa, is that ever a light? I think we'll see at night with those things. So, I'll get them mounted. I'll get them started to get mounted here. There, now that was going up and down. Now I'll see if I can get this pot into here. This wire here just goes through. So I'll have to put new ends on that wire soon. If I can get it to go through here first. There we go. That appears to be the way it fits in there. See what happens here. How do you like that, eh? So, goes up and down. And that's all solid. So I'm going to let that be right there. Later on I can adjust the, whatever you call that, adjust the beam to go the right way. But right now it's good.